Well, it's been a stellar year for Nashville theater, both nationally and locally. Here with a look at some of 2019's standouts is one of our favorites, Nashville Scene arts and theater writer Amy Stumpfl. Great to see you, Amy.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, always a pleasure. And what a year 2019 has been.
It has been a really busy year. We've got all this growth happening across the city, and that includes the arts community, so it's been exciting to see.
It really has been. And before we look back, just around the corner, we've got something people have been talking about for years now, and it's here.
Everybody is buzzing about Hamilton, and rightfully so. I'm really excited to see it finally coming. It arrives at the Tennessee Performing Arts Center December 31st.
So that's going to be a lot of fun, so we will definitely be there and we'll be reporting back on that. So let's kind of get a look back, though, at 2019, because there were some stellar moments.
Totally.
One of those being...
just a Broadway legend, Betty Buckley, was here at TPAC for Hello Dolly, and it was a gorgeous production. We had the added bonus of a little local connection with Annalisa Lemming, and I thought it was just a great celebration of a real classic in American theater.
It's always fun when you see someone who is such an icon like Betty Buckley, and you come in and you have all these expectations, and just to be able to watch them and observe, and they always put their own spin on it. It was just such a pleasure to see that.
Totally. I thought she really embraced the humor of it. It was great to see her up there having a good time on stage.
And sometimes, do you ever notice, because I know you get to see a lot of theater and you just got back from New York yourself, is it the same when you see them on tour as when you see some of these legends on Broadway?
I think it's remarkable, actually, when you think about the travel and the wear and tear as they're going across the country, but they love the material, they love it so much. I think it's a real testament that she believed in this enough to go on the road. Yeah. She doesn't have to do that.
Right,
so.
Exactly, and she did a good stand with it. Now, one of my favorites of the entire year was Dear Evan Hansen. I mean, it was phenomenal, blew me away.
Absolutely. This is a Grammy and Tony Award winning Best Musical. What a way to kick off the new season. This is a great contemporary hit that's still playing on Broadway, by the way, so it was wonderful to see it.
And the way that they staged it, again, didn't disappoint. As you can see right there, that's a touring show, just phenomenally staged, as well as the story. So brings you in, it's so contemporary.
Totally, and really uplifting. I know a lot of people were not sure what to expect, but I think it's very hopeful and beautiful music, just great performances the whole bit.
Absolutely. Another one of your favorites, Once on This Island.
Yeah, I had actually seen this up in New York. This was presented in the round, and so they had to completely change the staging to take it on tour. It was wonderful to see it. It's such a dynamic staging. They had on-stage seating for this. They had some of the original cast members went on tour with it, and just a beautiful piece. It was a lot of fun. Absolutely.
Now we're going to get into some of these that some people have heard the buzz about. They've heard some of the talk about it, but really want to kind of dive in. Manuel Cinema's Frankenstein.
Yes, this is a really cool piece. This is a very innovative company out of Chicago. Manuel Cinema does kind of multimedia theater. And with Frankenstein, they took shadow puppetry, they had really innovative cinematic techniques and sound effects, and they're basically creating a film right before your eyes. There's a chamber orchestra creating like a live soundscape. It's just a totally fresh take on a story that we all know, but and they also kicked off their tour here in Nashville, which I thought was notable.
What you and I were talking about before we went on camera, the fact that Nashville is really starting to, make a name for itself with, premieres and kickoffs and things like that. That's because that says a lot.
It really does. You don't see that every day. Once on This Island also kicked off its national tour here in Nashville. Yeah. So that's great for us.
Very exciting. Now, another one we really definitely want to get in there, Pipeline. Tell me about that.
Pipeline was incredibly moving. This is Nashville Repertory Theater's production. John Royal directed. This is Dominique Morceau's just a gut-wrenching script. It looks at race, class, the American education system, powerhouse performances, and the design was really unique. It incorporated the work of a local artist named Omari Books. Yes, Booker, sorry.
Yes.
And he had created a series of beautiful paintings that they then projected onto the set. And it was just a really immersive feel to that. And I think John Royal is probably the busiest man in town right now. He's doing a lot of great work.
And speaking of John Royal, let's talk about Citizen and American Lyric.
Citizen was a really unique experience over at Actors Bridge Ensemble. This was based on a book of poetry from Claudia Rankine. It blends poetry poetry and movement and music and prose and some visual elements to talk about race in America and what's going on. And it was a pretty powerful piece on its own, but then one of my favorite things was after each show we had an opportunity for a kind of a guided talk back, and it was some of the most honest conversation I've ever experienced. It was great.
And our theater companies, just a nod to them, of course, we mentioned Nashville Rep and you were talking about Actors Bridge. I mean, they just continue to raise the bar, just always impressive.
Absolutely. It's really impressive, and I get the chance to go around the country sometimes and see similar titles and plays and productions, and I always come back home and go, yeah, we're doing a great job. We are definitely raising the bar here.
Yeah, that's always good to hear. Tell me about Lucy Negro Redux. I mean, heard a lot about that.
This Nashville Ballet made national headlines with this production. This was a world premiere, I believe, in February, again based on a book of poetry that looks at the Dark Lady of Shakespeare's sonnets, and it had original music from Rhiannon Giddens and of course Paul Vasterline's amazing choreography. It was quite an event.
Now, not so much maybe with this, but I wanted to kind of go back to something that I wanted to ask you. Design. We're talking about, are you seeing more with these theater companies rather than just material, but it's also about the design of the overall production?
Yeah, we are very fortunate to have some amazing artists in town. The Rep has got Gary C. Hoff. Scott Leathers is a gentleman that I just recently profiled that has done work all over town, the children's theater, the ballet, everywhere in between. We're very fortunate to have those kinds of storytellers in a visual sense.
Now, we're almost out of time, but just wanted to get in Secondhand Wings from the Theater Bug.
Yes,
oh my gosh.
I love giving a shout out to them. One of my favorite things is to go to a show at Theater Bug with someone who's never been because they think it's going to be little kid stuff. This Secondhand Wings was an allegory about trans youth, and it just felt incredibly honest, real, very heartfelt, and they got a little shout out on Good Morning America just last week.
That was terrific. Yeah, Corey.
Great. Yeah, very well deserved. They're doing wonderful work over there.
Okay, so make sure you check out all the theaters. So thank you as always. Great to see you.
Thank you so much, Chuck.
And have a great new year.
All right, you too.
All right, and for the best in 2020 theater, follow Amy on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And that's all for this Yuletide edition of Out and About today. Thanks for watching throughout 2019. Happy holidays, and to all, a good night.